A man in his late 20s, living in his parents' guest house, became dangerously obsessed with a virtual girlfriend. But how could he possibly spend $275,000 of his family's money on someone he'd never even met? Was it just an addiction? Or was something darker at play? Why didn't anyone stop him? Well, stick with us to know all about this story. In 2018, a 29-year-old man found himself living in his parents' guest house with no job and no plan for the future. Grant Amato had already been kicked out of anesthesiology school for skipping classes and fired from his nursing job for allegedly stealing medications. Not exactly a glowing track record, but that didn't stop him from spending a shocking amount of his family's money. How? He discovered online campsites, interactive adult entertainment, where viewers pay performers for personalized live shows. He quickly became obsessed with a cam girl named Sylvie. And by obsessed, I mean obsessed. Over the next 6 months, he drained nearly $275,000 from his family.
So we just want to talk to you a little bit, and we'll get this in and out, be on our way. Okay? Full name?
My full name is Grant Tiernan Amato.
What is there any special nursing degree, what you do, or?
I have like other certifications. With that, like I primarily worked in the hospital for I think 5 or 6 years. Well, I was accused of grand theft of the third degree back in June of 2018. There was no evidence ever presented. All the charges were dropped. I had been applying for jobs for the last couple weeks. I'd gotten like 3 or 4 callbacks, and then I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job.
So what time was your interview yesterday?
It was scheduled for 10. I got there at around 9 in the morning. And then I think we actually had the interview at about 9:45.
How'd that go?
I mean, it was all good. They didn't have anything. They said that they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because, I mean, it's like it's a crappy world when, you don't have any money, you can't do anything, so.
Financially, how's the nursing, what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much. She knows all more about nursing. The nursing, how does it pay? How does it pay?
If you work your standard 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between, I'd say, $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So, it's not bad. I think my best year, I made like $55,000. Because I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
When I was just, because I had the whole plan of going to graduate school, so I was just kind of using it as a stepping stone at that time.
Just to pay the bills, to get you where you gotta, gotcha. And what you were going for, what does that pay?
Nursing.
First, he swiped Cody Amato, his brother's credit card, then dipped into his dad's hard-earned life savings from decades of working as a pharmacist. Grant even went as far as taking out a loan against the family home. By the time his parents caught wind of the massive debt, it was too late. His father's 30-year savings were gone, his brother's accounts were wiped clean, and the family was left on the brink of financial disaster.
It was scheduled for 10. I got there at around 9 in the morning. And then I think we actually had the interview at about 9:45.
How'd that go?
It was all good. They didn't have anything. They said that they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because, it's like it's a crappy world when, you don't have any money, you can't do anything, so.
Financially, how's the nursing, what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much. She knows all more about nursing. The nursing, how does it pay?
Instead of going straight to the police, his parents tried to help, sending him to a rehabilitation center for online porn addiction.
This year I made like $55,000.
Because
I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
When I was just, because I had the whole plan of going to graduate school, so I was just kind of using it as a stepping stone at that time.
Just to pay the bills, to get you where you gotta, gotcha. And what you were going for, what does that pay?
Nurse anesthesia pays, base like about 150 up to 175.
Okay.
But did he learn his lesson? Not even close. Just weeks after returning home, he was back on his computer, reconnecting with Sylvie. On January 24, Grant's dad, Chad, confronted him. "I've had enough," Chad said, demanding that Grant leave the house immediately for breaking the rules.
You know, I was in honors in the major program for UCF.
Girlfriends.
Girlfriends. I had, like, my high school sweetheart girlfriend for about 5 years.
It was a fight that would spiral out of control. But could anyone have guessed how far things would go? How could a grown man throw away everything for an online fantasy?
But, I mean, not really. Kind of focused on, like, just getting through the life goals that, you know, I wanted to achieve.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to watch anime.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what it is.
I mean...
I thought you said MMA. I'm like, okay, and then when you start explaining to it,
I mean, I
heard
guess
it, like, now.
It's animated.
The morning after the confrontation, something wasn't right. Cody Amato's girlfriend called the police, worried because he hadn't shown up for work and wasn't picking up his phone. Officers quickly arrived at the Amato house, and when they went around the back, they made a grim discovery.
It's like cartoons, I guess you could say, but it's Japanese cartoons. It is in Japanese, and then they subtitle it. Yeah.
Do you speak Japanese?
I was going to say, do you understand?
I don't. I understand a few words. We actually just went to, me, my brother, and one of my friends, or I guess friends from high school, we went to Japan.
Chad, his wife Margaret, and Cody were all dead, shot in cold blood. When the question started, Grant seemed calm, almost too calm. He talked about his past jobs and dreams of becoming a nurse anesthetist, saying the plan was to go to graduate school. He mentioned a recent job interview, but never went into any personal details.
But we need to know exactly what happened because, like Danny said, we can place you there at certain times. And so we need to know what happened before you left that house because you didn't leave with everything being okay.
I honestly, I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
He wasn't buying any of it. He denied it all. He said once he left the home, he never came back. I read people very well, and I was not sitting comfortable with his answers.
This is the time to come to Jesus, to be honest. Because you know more. I'm looking in your eyes tell me exactly that you are hurting inside. I get it. Brother, I get it. You're hurting.
And this is the only time we can help you.
The officer, taking it all in, pressed on. Any problems with Cody? Amato shook his head. But there was something in his eyes. Something a little off. No, not really, he said. Though he hesitated. I mean, he's been under a lot of stress lately. Sometimes he'd get pretty upset.
You know, I spoke to, like, the therapist and psychiatrist and all that stuff. I didn't need any medications for anything. They had analyzed it as, this is an isolated event. You've been out of work, you have this PTSD from the whole getting arrested thing, and I mean, the last thing on my record was, I think, a speeding ticket back when I was at UCF. They had signed me up, I think, to be there for 60 days, but then I was only there until January 4th, so...
Who paid for that?
My brother, Cody.
What was the cost of that, do you know?
$15,000.
So their final diagnosis of you was what?
That I was fine. That...
Didn't need to be there.
Yeah. That I was fine. I told them all about, like, my living situation and how it had been stressful, and then it got better, and then now it's just stressful again. But they had all just said that it was just this isolated event.
Situational PTSD from...
Right. When I got back, that's where my dad started to get really kind of overbearing. And, I mean, rightfully so. I know what I did. But it's like with him, it was every single day, hours a day, hours a day. He'd come home from work, and then he would just talk to me just about the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again.
When was the last time that you and your dad did have, you know, a heated conversation?
It would be...
He paused, like he was choosing his words carefully. He never got violent or anything, he added quickly. But then, almost as an afterthought, he added, well, one time, he punched a cabinet and left a dent in the wall.
So yeah, anyways, on Thursday, he had apparently found out that I was speaking to her again. You know, it wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened. And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like I like, you know, it felt like a relationship. You know, I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it.
So Thursday.
But he wasn't the type to get violent. Amato let out a small sigh. I didn't want to go, but my dad was firm about it. He was the one who made the call. Your dad had his reasons, right? The officer asked, pushing him to explain further.
I think he had to go in early that day because he had to start like doing overtime or something like that. And he normally works though from like 5 or 6 in the morning to, I think he gets home between like 5:30 and 6 at night or something like that.
What time did you get home that day?
He got home at like 5:30, and then he came in and then he asked me.
Yeah, he thought I wasn't doing anything positive, Amato replied, his voice quieter now. Then Grant admitted to something that made him uncomfortable. I had this online relationship with a cam model.
You know, why do you think we're about to have this conversation? Giving me, I guess, that opportunity to be honest and truthful, to maybe tone it down a little bit. I, of course, did what I always did, where I kind of didn't admit to it. And then he came out and he told me that I had been doing that.
He had proof.
Yeah.
He said, looking a bit embarrassed. She's from Bulgaria, and we'd talk for hours every night. He paused for a moment. I'd buy tokens to spend time with her. It was like having a virtual girlfriend, but it cost a lot more than I thought it would. He looked down.
Up and just get out of the house. That he was the one who had to be the hammer, and that, you know, why am I making him have to go through this, and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
I had my argument, and then I'm packing my stuff. I'm, you know, taking it out to the car. It took me like a couple hours to get as much as I could, just kind of out into there. So I left. And then.
What time do you think you left about?
I spent close to $200,000 on her. The number hung in the air, making the situation feel even more serious. He had lied to his family about the money. I told them I was spending it on advertising for my Twitch channel. They believed that, of course. Who wouldn't? Amato's voice was sarcastic. But really, it was all about keeping this online relationship going. His father, worried about how things were going, sent him to a place called Cornerstone. On Thursday evening, things went south. My dad came home and asked me, "Why do you think we're about to have this conversation?" Amato said. He didn't admit to breaking the rule, but his father already knew. He grabbed me off the couch and started yelling at me, Amato recalled.
He was brought up to speed on like why I'm out here.
Who brought him up to speed?
My mom.
Oh, so she talked to him?
Yeah.
He told you that mom had talked to him?
Right.
Do you think that's why Cody left work?
He told me to pack up and leave. He was acting like he was the hammer and I was the one getting punished. After the argument, Amato began to pack his things. He spent hours getting everything into his car. By 9:30 p.m., he was ready to go. It was clear that this wasn't just about breaking a rule. It was about bigger problems between him and his family.
I was just thinking, oh, he had been let off work early like three times already this week. So I was just like...
10, 15 minutes you talk to Cody.
Right.
You have the conversation, and he leaves to go home.
Right.
And you leave to go where?
And then I stay in that general area just so that if anything happens, somebody like knows where I am. But yeah, I mean, I was staying in that general area, and then I decided to go
to Publix.
He just referred to the Publix supermarket parking lot. This is where he used the free Wi-Fi to log on to the campsite with his dead brother's credit card.
Which was about what time?
Like between like midnight and 1, I think. Yeah.
And you go to Publix midnight 1, and how long did you stay there till?
I stayed there until like 7.
Especially how his behavior had gotten so out of hand that he was kicked out of the house. Grant said that Cody came out to talk to him, and his response was calm and reassuring. "I'll take care of it," Cody supposedly said.
When you left Cody, what did he say he was going to go do?
Cody said that he will take care of it.
Take care of what?
Just the situation that was at hand with whatever he had been updated with from my mom.
Did he tell you what he was updated?
He had told me the reason why, like, I had been kicked out. But he really didn't give me that much dialogue, like, about that situation. You know, he was miffed a little bit because, you know, he had just gotten off work and now he has to go deal with this.
But what was your demeanor? Like, what did Cody see you as? Like, were you
like scared?
Upset?
Yeah, like, I was scared because, I mean, like I said, it's the first time that I had been out of the house.
However, as the investigation moved forward, things started to look much darker than Grant had let on. Forensic evidence soon painted a chilling picture. Margaret, who had been quietly enjoying a glass of wine while sitting at her computer, was shot from behind in what appeared to be a completely unexpected attack. She died instantly. Not long after, Chad, Grant's father, came home, only to be ambushed in the kitchen and shot in the head.
Why do you think we're having this conversation?
I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty freaked out at this point because, you know, it's
The horror didn't end there. Cody, who was still unaware of what had just happened to his parents, received a text from his father's phone telling him to come home urgently. What really raised suspicion was what happened next. Just 30 minutes after Cody's death, his credit card was used to make a $600 purchase on an adult website, one that Grant had been obsessively visiting for months.
As a child, we're told the truth always is the best thing to do, correct?
Correct.
You agree with me?
Yeah.
And accidents happen, and things in the heat of the moment, things happen that we wish hadn't happened, but I do it myself sometimes. My kids will make me so aggravated, I'll snap at them and then walk away and say, wow, I wish I would not have done that. That was not very adult of me to snap at my child for something. Yes, they're wrong, but I should be the adult and not snap at them.
Right.
Feeling that Grant wasn't being fully honest, the lead detective decided to approach him from a different angle. Sometimes, when we're frustrated, we make bad decisions, the investigator said, trying to ease into the conversation. He spoke about how even he had moments where he regretted losing his temper with his own kids. He was trying to show empathy. Detective Dan leaned in, locking eyes with Grant. His voice was calm but steady.
The way you act. Now's the time. Now's the time if there's something you want to get off your chest and give us an explanation of what's bothering you. Now is the exact time to do it. And I'm giving that opportunity right now to tell me something you want to get off your chest. It's there. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your eyes.
You kept out about that night.
You're upset about it. You've been that since we've talked to you. I can see there's something been bothering you. Even though I don't know you from Adam's house, can't you see things in people that something's really bothering this guy? It's not that, you know, I spent a bunch of money I shouldn't have on this girl. So be it. You did. It's over with. Money can be made back. Something's bothering you.
I'm just worried about what is all transpiring from this.
I think at this point right now, to be honest with you, Grant, you know what it is.
If there's something you're holding back, it's better to get it off your chest. He paused, letting the words sink in before continuing. We already know a lot. We just need you to speak the truth. It's already in the room with us, waiting to come out. But Grant didn't budge. His face remained as still as ever, the faintest trace of nervousness barely noticeable. He stuck to his story. He knew nothing. He had no idea what happened that night.
Like I told you out there in the car, did I not tell you? You may not like what I say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth every time, because I can walk in front of anybody in God and say, I don't care, I told him the truth.
And we usually know answers before we ask it.
Right.
Me and Eva knew.
The detective tried again, his tone softening, coaxing Grant into a confession, offering him a way out. confession can be a relief, you know," he said. "This is your one chance, Grant. This is your shot to come clean and make things right. When you're caught with your hand in the cookie jar, there's only one choice. Tell the truth."
But right now is the time to get it off your chest. And I really wish you would, because it will make you feel better in the end.
I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about the night or, the periods of time afterwards.
There's only one opportunity to make that good impression.
Grant had been wrestling with his emotions for months, particularly his relationship with a woman named Sylvie. This relationship, full of tension and obsession, played a major role in the tragic events that followed.
Things I could do for you, to be honest. I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
Right.
but I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what, believe it or not. That's just me, and she'll tell you. It's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say, if I can do something that can help you, I'm going to help you, because every one of us make mistakes and do things we shouldn't have done in the heat of the moment to protect ourselves or to protect somebody else. It happens. Now's the time. Now is the time
So what do you think
to be
happened?
honest.
On January 25, 2019, after a fight with his family, Grant decided he'd had enough. He left home in the early hours of the morning, somewhere around midnight, and by 2:53 a.m., he was parked in a Publix lot. But this wasn't just any late-night stop.
And before you left the home, that you're either afraid of or embarrassed to talk about. But we need to know exactly what happened, because like Danny said, we can place you there at certain times. And so we need to know what happened before you left that house, because you didn't leave with everything being okay.
I honestly, I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Do you even know why law enforcement got involved? Like what brought us to that home?
No.
Once you start telling me something that's truthful that I know, then we're going to have a conversation of exactly what happened.
I mean, you're a smart guy. You know something's happened at your home. You have law enforcement here. You haven't heard or gotten any
Well,
emails from
I mean,
your family.
I'm just scared as to what the answer is.
Well, you need to help yourself by filling in the blanks of what happened that night so we can give you the answer. Did anything more happen with you and your father besides him grabbing you up from the couch and yelling at you and kicking you out? Anything at all? Did he...
Grant used his brother Cody's checking account to make a $599.99 payment to access Sylvie's website. This was a decision that would soon link him to the deaths of his family members. By then, 3 of them were already dead at home, and Grant's obsession with Sylvie seemed to have taken over everything, even the tragedy unfolding around him.
Get it, you're hurting.
And this is the
You're
only
scared.
time we can help you.
Because once we get to a certain point, there's nothing I can do. It's in the hands of who has it. Nothing I can do. Honesty is always the best policy. You get caught stealing a car, you admit to it, I did it, how can I get help? What can be done to help me? And let me tell you the rest of my story. You're holding
And if
back.
something happened that you were defending yourself, then we need to know that. If you were protecting yourself because you were in fear, then that makes sense. But we need to know exactly what happened for you to protect yourself.
You can't minimize this. Once
The interrogation reached a breaking point, with the detectives pressing Grant hard. They asked him if he had thought about reaching out to his brother Cody, who might have been in danger. But instead of giving a direct answer, Grant seemed to shut down, retreating into his own mind.
Band-aids on myself to minimize the injuries I have. And we're giving you that opportunity. I want to give you that opportunity. I don't think you're a bad guy at all.
I just didn't want to call anywhere. I didn't want to know, he confessed, a look of avoidance on his face. It was clear he was either in denial or too terrified to confront the truth about what had really happened.
I think you're going through a very stressful and emotional time right now with being out of work and just dealing with all the problems with the arrest. You're probably not used to depending on somebody to pay all your bills. So now you have to do mom and dad or have to give you money. Cody's having to give you money. And there's a significant debt to people. $200,000, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, mortgage, yeah, I get it, or something like that, or a medical bill for my child, yeah, I get it. But talking to some girl, in Bulgaria, you hit it right on the head. You were embarrassed about it, and you have nothing to be embarrassed about. Here it is, man. I want to help you. She want to help you. You gotta come to me with the truth now, because I already know the truth.
There's a reason you didn't go back to the house. There's a reason why you haven't tried to reach out. I mean, it's odd you haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's words that like I can't think of to even say. Like I don't know how to even say the words.
Well, give me a roundabout what you're thinking.
That somebody in my family's dead.
And how does that make you feel if you're thinking that?
I have absolutely no...
The detectives, sensing that he was close to cracking, switched tactics. They used a metaphor to make him understand the gravity of the situation. "Would you rather have a life preserver or a boat anchor?" they asked. The comparison stark and deliberate. It was their way of offering him an escape route, a chance to tell the truth before it was too late.
Never for you. I believe you 100%. I believe it's never been like that. But something happened Thursday, unlike anything you've ever experienced in 29 years of your life. Never.
And maybe you felt that was rock bottom for you. You were getting kicked out of the house. Your father gave you an ultimatum. I mean, that's...
"Once I cross those lines, I can't go back," one of the detectives warned, emphasizing the consequences of his next move. Grant seemed to get it. He knew that time was running out, but he still wasn't ready to admit to anything. "This is your last chance," the detectives urged him. But despite the pressure, he clung to his version of events.
I mean, that you'd want to lash out, or, if something happened, you'd want to defend yourself.
Sure. Absolutely.
But we need to know what happened.
I mean, I can tell that you guys are like leading me into a certain way of what...
The only thing we're leading you to is wanting to get the truth from you. Not trying to make you say something that's not true, that's not accurate. The truth, the end. That's it. That's all we want, is the absolute truth.
I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about what transpired during the nighttime.
So when you left your house, everybody was fine.
Yeah.
And when you left Cody,
everything was fine.
Well, we got called to the house because Cody didn't show up to work. So law enforcement goes over there, and can you tell us what we found?
No, the only thing that I was told was that Cody would take care of it for me. And that's all that I know.
So if anything happened in the home, to bring law enforcement there, what would you think happened?
Refusing to let go of the story he had convinced himself was true. The detectives weren't buying it. If there had been a gunfight, we would have found signs of it. Bullet holes, evidence of a struggle. But all we found were 3 bodies, they reminded him. They could tell that something wasn't adding up. The situation didn't make sense, and they were getting closer to the truth.
So you're telling me you did not shoot Cody,
No.
your father, or your mother?
No. I mean, I don't know, what more I can say.
Well, when law enforcement arrived, that's what they found. So you're the only outstanding child. You're the one that's been having problems with your dad. You're the one that we haven't been able to find for 2 days. Do you understand now why we would be questioning you about this?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't be saying I don't know the way to. I don't know what to even say.
So if anything happened in the home, you believe it would be Cody and him?
Yes. Because I don't have access to anything.
We know that Cody didn't shoot your dad. We know Cody didn't shoot your mom. We know Cody didn't shoot himself. There's something.
And you still haven't asked us the condition of them or anything.
That's because I don't know what the normal proceedings are, but
The normal proceedings are for you to be honest about what happened.
And then we help you understand everything that's going to go on from here on out, of what our responsibilities are.
And we don't believe you're being honest. We feel that you are leaving something out about what happened in that home. And the evidence tells us what happened in the home. But you need to fill in the blanks.
The suspect's composure was finally starting to slip. This was the perfect moment to draw out the silence to see how he'd respond to the pressure.
Here's my hand for honesty. I am an honest guy. I'm going to be honest. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to be honest to the very last day that I deal with you. And then when this investigation continues, I'll go on to the next person and be honest with them. I can only do so much with honesty. Honesty.
So what are you not telling us? What happened at that home that you know?
Jimmy.
Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that? Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother? Is that how you left your family?
No.
Nobody else went into that house.
Who left your family like this? If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family? If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now.
The female detective does an excellent job at affording him the option to admit to a lesser infraction, which in this case is self-defense. She provides the option while simultaneously building pressure. It's a textbook maneuver, and she does it very well.
To help you. So tell us what happened, Grant. We're here to listen to you.
Grant, you need the truth. We're here to make this right. You got to tell the truth. It's on the tip of your tongue, my man. I get that.
Did your father go after you and you try to protect yourself?
No, I didn't do any of this.
Hey, I know. Video surveillance tells me everything that happened this night. I'm telling you. Of people that you'd be surprised who in your neighborhood has video. And I know that there's only 4 people at this house during this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me. You got to tell me, man. You got to tell me. Get over that hoop. The video. If you're sitting there saying no, and video shows something else, guess what? Big problem. Because it will wind up later on that you can't get any help from anybody. A lot of this, what people make decisions on, is honesty. Was somebody honest? Didn't fire a gun. None of them did. None of them did. Cody did not go home.
Or did your father point a gun at you?
On August 12, 2019, Grant's trial began. The evidence against him was undeniable. His obsession with Sylvie had clouded his judgment and led him down a dark path, one that ultimately resulted in the deaths of 3 people.
That I can say.
So your dad had told you in the past before that he would kill you?
Right.
For what reason?
For if I basically did anything related to this, again, costing him a lot of money.
And Cody knew about that?
Right.
So when did you learn that your family was dead?
I had been worried since last night when I was just in the hotel, but I knew when you guys told me. I knew when you guys had told me.
You already knew, though.
But I had...
You already said... You knew.
At any point, did you feel like you needed to reach out to Cody and see if he was okay, or...?
I just didn't want to call anywhere. I just didn't want to know.
We understand your father was abusive, and we understand that he was the asshole. And if he threatened you, that he was going to kill you when you came back, you were probably in fear, were you not? So did your brother come home to try and defend you, and then this gunfight happened? And you got so scared that you left?
This version of events would obviously clear Grant of any wrongdoing. The detective is hoping he takes the bait so that he changes his story, and can then be placed under arrest for lying to police.
No, I mean, I had left when I had said that I had left.
I just don't know where else to go to get you to come around, because it does not make any logistical sense of what you're telling us. It doesn't. If these two got in a shooting, we would know. We would know they shot each other. We'd know that.
But why Mom?
Things just got so bad and out of hand, like never it's been before in your life. Never been even before in your life, or your family's life. He's pissed. His future, his retirement, his plans are being upset by you because of the financial cost. I would almost bet this is just a horrible, bad incident that on any other day wouldn't happen. But you and me both know, as does she, what happened that night.
I don't have the answer for anything else.
Okay. This is the last time before I'm gonna walk out and then I'm done. Then I'm done for good. When I'm done, I'm done.
His family, the very people he should have cared for and protected, were now gone. And all that was left was a destroyed life and a courtroom full of people trying to understand how it all went wrong.
I mean, I've been getting blamed for the last half a year for everything, and I've been trying to move forward into a positive direction. And then every day I'm reminded of all the trouble that I had caused. And then I keep being told the same thing over and over again, but there's nothing that I can do to change it.
Do you regret doing this to each one of your family members?
I didn't do that to each one of them.
Here, you sit in my seat for a minute. Sit in my seat. Get out of it. Here, sit right here. Come here. Sit right here. Get out of that seat. Sit right there for me.
The suspect still isn't sitting in his seat.
Two things that happened here today. Two things. You're a guy swimming out in the middle of the ocean, and we're going to give you one of two things based on you. You can have a life preserver to keep from drowning, or you get the boat anchor. Which one do you want? Because we will give you whichever one you ask for. The life preserver, the boat anchor.
No, I want the life preserver, but I've said everything that I can.
You want it, and I believe you do, but you have not said everything you can say. But there will be a time where you ask for that life preserver. I can't give it to you. I can't. Once I cross a line I gotta step over, can't do it. Won't do it. Think about that. I want to talk to her for a minute. Think about the last life preserver I can give you. Think about it. Take a few minutes just to reflect on it, and then we'll come back to you in a couple of minutes, and then we'll go from there. And what happens is what happens. Fair enough? You alright, Graham? Okay. Need some food, some water? You good to stay for a while longer? You okay?
I mean, I just don't have anything more that I can say. I don't know what the next...
I'm not keeping you. If you want to stay, I'll talk to you till whatever, till you're happy with everything and you're okay. You're not detained. You're not being kept here. Don't want to be here. You don't have to be here.
And I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay. Give me a minute. We'll get you out of here. What we'll do is we'll get you up somewhere. I'll give you my card, my phone number. If you want to talk to me, you're more than welcome to call me. And we'll move forward from there. Fair enough? Any questions of me before I go? Or before we walk out? I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Like, what am I, like, allowed to do?
Live your life.
Grant's defense tried to shift blame, but the jury wasn't fooled. They saw through his lies, his manipulations, and his desperate attempts to avoid responsibility.
Your clothing. As soon as that's done, we'll get Jason here to talk to you.
Sorry.
Alright, so I take it you know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you plain out, you are not part of it anyway.
No.
When's the last time you saw everybody?
I left the house between like midnight and like 12:30.
I want to believe you, Grant, but you're the last person that I could put in that house. And I know what happened over the last 6 months. Who else can I blame? How are we gonna find out who did this?
I don't know. I don't have the answers.
The shit you did, you could have been in jail. You would have been in jail for years.
I know.
And they covered it up for you. I'm scared for you and I'm scared for myself, and I don't feel comfortable with you being around me alone. I'm sorry. I could take you physically, but if you have a knife or know where a gun is, I'm fucked. I need you to be honest with me, man. I need to have closure. I was told that you would not have access to be able to contact this woman. Why do you feel the intent to still contact her?
It was just the whole emotional thing. I mean, that's all
Okay,
that I can say.
so are you saying that you love the woman?
I feel like I did, yeah.
Okay, you feel like you did, so you don't feel that way now?
Well, I mean, now it's pretty much, you know, I mean, it's not what it used to be, is all I can say.
Because she's aware of what has happened in the last several months.
Right.
It hurt, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't carry that persona that you carried before. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less.
In the end, it was clear that Grant's actions had been driven by his own unchecked emotions, anger, obsession, and a twisted sense of betrayal. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Time, you know that. Like Danny said, once you're out of here, there's no coming back from this. We're giving you every opportunity to tell us what happened in that home that you have not told us.
Mm-hmm.
So you're aware that when you leave here, you're not going to have any chance to redeem yourself and tell us the truth after the fact.
I understand.
And you're okay with that. You can live with yourself knowing that you're not going to tell us the truth.
I've said what I can say.
Okay.
You ready, man? Yeah. Question for you real quick. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt anybody else. No suicidal thoughts. Okay, come on, bud.
A harsh reminder of how easily someone can lose their way when consumed by personal demons. What are your views on this? Do let us know in the comments section below, and for more such amazing videos, do subscribe to our channel.